Alright, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elohim. I own Insight Transformations, where I do massage therapy in Utah and virtual healing globally. So, I am here reading parts 4 and 5 of the creation story as channeled through Temperance, who is a judge in the spiritual courts. And I'm excited to do this. So, without further ado, let's have at it. Part 4 of the creation and the Elohim, the rebellious son. And I'm going to be reading off of my screen. In the kingdom of Guile, the Archon Father ruled by placing himself above all others. The Great Mother no longer spoke. When she wept openly, she was forbidden from being seen, because her grief showed that all was not well under Guile's rule. The son was brought up first with his mother. Seeing that her influence went counter to his father's desires, Guile placed her in a dungeon and forbade her from seeing her son. The Great Mother was replaced with a wet nurse and governess who exacted strict punishment. This governess had the ability to appear gentle and kind, but under the surface, she was ice cold. She was presented as a new mother to the son, better than the one he had had before. When he cried for his mother, he was told she was too ashamed of him to see him. From the governess mother, the son learned that obedience gained love. At his father's side, he was taught the way of oppression and how to wield power. As planned, the son possessed innate power. When the son spoke, it was so. As he learned the ways of his father, he grew to understand that they were wrong. He knew that his mother could not speak directly, but he also understood that her words were life. While he could not directly speak with her when his father and governess mother were present, he found ways to contact her in secret. So the son grew up. At the end of his childhood, he was presented with a diploma. "My son," said his father, "you have completed all the training we require of you. You are now ready to rule." With grave solemnity, his governess mother handed him the diploma. The son took it in his hands. He saw the sickly sweetness of his governess mother's smile. He saw the noble pride on his father's face, and in his soul he felt the despair of his mother. It was time for him to enact his will. "Since I am a man," said the son, "I wish to go and see all of creation. There is much still to learn. My inheritance is mine. I will take it with me to sustain my travels. Do not be angry with me. This path will help me be a better ruler." But this displeased his father. "My education is not good enough for you," he said. Seeing the swelling of anger in his father, his governess's eyes flashed cold, and her sweetness turned to dismay. But the son persisted. "You hold but one perspective on creation. If I am to rule all, I must see through the eyes of each creature. When I return, I will be a ruler worthy of the title." "You shall not return to rule if you leave now," his father replied, furiously. "There is no one else who can rule," the son countered. "There is no one else with the might I was born with. You have said so yourself since the beginning. Goodbye, father. Goodbye, mother." "I am no mother to you," his governess said, disgust raining on her features. For a moment, the combined hatred of his father and his governess threatened to overwhelm the son's resolve. Many times before, they had forced him into submission in this way. Part 5. The Journey of the Prodigal Son. The outrage of Guile and the governess mother loomed over the prodigal son as strongly as ever, for if he should leave, they knew that they would not be able to use him to control all creation. This time, however, the son allowed their anger to turn back on them, for he felt calm and assured in his decision. When he spoke, it was with the cooled precision of a forged blade. "As you are no mother to me, I am free to be son to my true mother at last," he said. And it was so. The son took his leave. He traveled creation for many eons. Prodigal, his father called him. Lost. Within himself, the son accepted these titles and their shame. When he rested, it was in foreign fields, and when he entered a house, it was only as a guest or prisoner. The son accepted all punishment, for it aligned with the views he held of himself. Meanwhile, in the Archon kingdom, Guile planned to create a new ruler, for the first son was right. There was no one else with the might to rule. Guile did not have might, but he did have great intelligence. He knew that he alone was not able to rule. From his own being, he created a copy, and from the Great Mother, he took just enough light to cover over the darkness and make his creation appealing. He called his creation Lucifer and gave him to the governess mother to raise. Lucifer knew not the Great Mother. He accepted the rule of his father and the conditional love of his governess mother. He learned their lessons well and embraced their ways. When he received his diploma, it was a pinnacle moment in his life. The prodigal son had no knowledge of this second son. In his exile, he truly desired to learn how to rule. He knew that his might had been used to govern in the name of his father. He believed that in stepping away, he had prevented more harm. As he had learned to speak with his mother, under his father's eye, he continued to do so in his travels. Her voice comforted him even as his father's shame ripped him apart. Sometimes he could not hear her voice clearly, and he experienced suffering and doubt. Yet he continued his journey. After many travels, the prodigal son was adopted by Elohim, the light aspect of the Great Father. He did not know that his younger brother had gotten there first. He did not know that his brother knew of him and recognized him. Lucifer and the prodigal were both embraced as children of the Elohim Father. The prodigal's honesty regarding his origins combined with his self-doubt to allow an opening for Lucifer's eyes. Notwithstanding this, the Elohim family planned and carried out a new creation together. In the planning, the prodigal son protested Lucifer's ideas, but his words were denied. How could he, the son of Guile, who inherited so much darkness, see clearly to judge the heart of Lucifer, or even the heart of the Great Father? So he settled for contributing his own part, as he was asked to do. When the creation was carried out, the prodigal knew that Lucifer caused it to split. In his heart, he knew it was deliberate, but to please his adopted family, the prodigal son allowed himself to doubt. He allowed for it to be a mistake, and Lucifer continued to assure the family that he had every intention of helping to mend the divide. Thus he was permitted to continue. The work of mending commenced. The prodigal son participated in every level of this creation. From the smallest creature to the largest, he lived many lifetimes, giving his creative might to all, in as many ways as he could imagine. Many creatures he came across in his journey. They ranged from new to old, large to small. In each he saw the spark of the Great Mother, and he honored them all. By choosing light at every turn, the prodigal grew in might and virtue. In his journey, he proved that one's destiny is not dependent on what one is given. What makes a creature is the choice between light and dark. Having been born of oppression, the son chose light, and thus gained the might to rule. As he worked to heal all creation, he was joined by those who shared his desire for healing. The prodigal son gained titles, not by inheritance, but by his dedication to love. In this way, he fulfilled the plan he had designed upon leaving home. Because he could see through the eyes of all, the prodigal son was, according to the word he had spoken, now fit to rule all. Yet he doubted himself. The mending of creation began, then failed, then began again. Each time it began, it gained more ground, but it was not enough to last. Seeing this, his friends met with him to discuss what next steps they together should take to heal the split. "What you have done in this capacity is enough. You must go home," they said to him. "You must embrace your inheritance and work from the level you were born to wield." "I am not ready," he protested. "I have not experienced all there is to experience. I do not know everything yet." "You know all you need to learn all there is to know. You have proven yourself a fit ruler. You have attained wisdom. We need you to take your place, for working on the outskirts of your true power does not serve the highest good of all. Your might is also needed." Prodigal son knew it to be so. "I will do what it takes," he said. And so, with the might and authority gained in his travels, and with an army of light workers pledged in mutual love, Prodigal son returned home.